Hey everyone, it's Cygnus, and welcome back to All the Magic Spellbound. Today, we're going to be getting our hands dirty with some blood magic. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like what you're watching, but without further ado, let's get into it. So unfortunately, you guys, 2 episodes that I recorded ended up corrupted. Now, not corrupted in the recording side, but corrupted when I moved them into editing. Something happened, I'm not sure what, but the files, I'm not able to get them back. But it seems a lot happened off camera. So first and foremost, I would like to thank you guys for sending in your comments because I've actually gotten some ideas to decorate. And currently it looks like this place is overgrowing, and it's probably going to keep doing that. And outside, it's also overgrowing. In fact, there's vines growing on the lighthouse. There's grass growing, and what is this building? In one of the episodes that got corrupted, we built a warehouse. And the purpose of the warehouse was to house our refinery. So this is our ore refinery plant. And essentially, it just sends things in from this chest, which will connect over to the mine eventually, and sends it to the crushing wheel, which pops out here, processes it, drops it, and puts it in this chest, as you can see, except for this copper ore, I don't know why. But it all happens on its own. The roof burned down a couple times, powered by that. Here's a little gear exchange to speed it up so that the fan is going in the right direction. We can turn the fan off by doing this if we ever need to pass by it. We usually don't. And everything is pretty much self-automated here. We just have to set up some connections. What are you doing, buddy? You can stay over there. More importantly, today, we have some things to do, some blood magic things to do. So we're going to get started on that, and we could get started on Ars Nouveau. We're definitely making enough Mage Bloom, definitely making enough Source Gems, but I don't want to do that just yet. I want to get into blood magic, because blood magic is fun. Now this is where the create stuff was set up, except for that, that's still there. And we had it all back here, and there's still some remnants of it. That's been moved out, and we'll be repurposing this area. Now what we're going to get into down here is, well, like I said before, blood magic. Now, blood magic is particularly interesting in the ways that it works. It's not like other magic mods. Other magic mods have different sources, like there's this, or in Thaumcraft, if you've ever played Thaumcraft, it has a bunch of different ways to get the energy it needs. Or Astral Sorcery uses the stars. No, this uses your own life force to power everything you want to do. And it's going to be the source of all the spells and magic we're going to do with blood magic. So the first thing we're going to make is the blood altar. So this is the core of everything we're going to do, and we're even going to have to build runes and special things that go underneath this little blood altar. So we have the blood altar. Let's also get the knife. So the knife is called a sacrificial knife. It's just a fun little toy that we're going to play with. Now I'll show you how it works. It's pretty simple. We'll get an arrow of regeneration for our troubles. So we're going to need to make a weak blood orb by chucking in a diamond into the blood altar. And we also will need to make this little inner piece thing right here. We'll get into that in a little bit, but as you can see here, if you walk up to the altar while it's burning, the knife will glow, and then you stand there till the flame goes out, and then you right click on your blood altar. You'll give as much blood as possible in one go with the glowing blade. So essentially, you will give blood all the way until you are at half heart immediately. So there's no having to right click repeatedly. Now when I say at half heart, I mean that literally. We're going to place this down. We're going to use this little sacrificial knife, and it's going to start filling this with essence, or with our life points. And right there, that's life. That is us going in there. And we can just keep using that, fill this thing up. We gotta be real careful to not overdo it, or we'll just instantly die. Whew, that actually stressed me out a little bit. But that's now full of blood, so we want to get on to making the first blood orb, and I think that's actually enough. But with blood magic, we can actually source it from other things. We don't only have to use our blood, so we can, at some point, start a mob farm of any kind, really. Zombie, cow, pig, blaze even, and they will give us the life points we need to power this blood altar, and we'll later end up expanding around it to make a bigger and better blood altar. So we're just going to let this charge, Hopefully it has enough. If it doesn't, we'll drop some more blood in there. It's nice of them to give us an arrow of regeneration. It's just a shame that I don't think you can hit yourself with it. And there we go. That's what we needed. This is a weak blood orb. So this allows us to store life essence directly. And we don't need any... Well, we don't need to constantly drain ourselves of life to have this. So let's go ahead and get this. So this requires us to throw in, let's see, it looks like any stone. Forge any stone. So let's go ahead. Oh, we already have our stone. Never mind. Let's run back downstairs. And let's put this in there. And yeah, it's going to need 1,000. So we can put, I believe, how do we do this exactly? Ah. Now it's ours, so now we can use it. So we had to shift right-click holding the weak blood orb. I think it says that. You can bind it to yourself, right-click to link it to your life points. Life point network is utilized for special tools. So later we'll have tools that can make us fly or go fast or do whatever. That will be used instead of our life because those tools will kill you almost instantly if you use them without life. And it gets pretty bad, so we'll definitely want to have one of those and keep it fueled up. There we go. Now we have this. This blank slate is what we need to go and make the alchemy table. And the alchemy table, just a neat little thing we're going to need to progress in blood magic, but it's going to be the start of a lot of interesting mechanisms of this mod that, well, I just suppose aren't often covered. To be completely honest, I don't see this mod covered on YouTube really much at all. So we'll go ahead and make this. You got that nice experience. There's a lava crystal we can make. Don't worry about that. We're going to make the alchemy table. There we go. And now we have this, and we can just set that right here. That's not the angle I want it set at. Let's try again. There we go. Almost. There we go. That's the angle I want it at. So here we can set the weak blood orb in, and now we can start proceeding into making sigils and living armor. This is really what we're aiming for here with blood magic. We really want that living armor. So to make arcane ashes are obtained by putting these things in there with some sort of blood orb. So I think we have all of these things. So we can go ahead and make some, and we also have plant oil. That'll be used a little later. So you can tell where we're at with these mods. We can sort of speed through at least a large swath of the mod, and we don't have to sit around and wait too much. So we'll also be making an alchemy array later. That'll come in time, but for now, we're going to be using this to make what we want. Now we should just be able to, yeah, so it's going to need all of those things. Don't think it's too specific on the order. Insufficient LP in soul network. So, that's, phew. Let's eat first and not continue to burn our life down. So that could have been bad. I could have ended up right-clicking with that and just destroying myself. Okay, let's try again. There we go. So that's enough. And that will make us the 1 arcane ashes that we need. And that's used to draw alchemy circles, which is the alchemy array I was just talking about. So we got the arcane ash. It's going to make another one. Very nice of them to do it on its own. And now we can go on to the reagents. So each of these reagents are going to be used to make these different sigils. And each of these sigils serves a different purpose in the functionality of the magic of blood magic. Now, we won't want to go too far into that because we're going to run out of blood really quick. Instead, what we're going to want to focus on are these runes down here, and there's a specific set of them that we want to get. So we want to go ahead and get that lava crystal, which, as you can tell, is a little expensive to make, but that's okay. We have the resources to spare. Let's go get our diamond, and we'll run downstairs real fast and get our lava. And there we go. That's our 3 lava that we need to make this crystal, and we can head back up. And we're probably going to need considerably more lava than what we just got, but honestly, it's fine for now. We're just getting into the introductions of the mod, essentially. This is all, like, it seems like it's very expensive, but this is all just the very bare bones basics of this mod pack. Or rather, this mod. And honestly, this whole mod pack, we're really not that far into it. It may seem like it, but this mod pack gets wild. And lava crystal. There we go. And it doesn't consume our blood orb, doesn't consume any of that, so it's not too wildly expensive. It's going to give us a blast furnace. So the way the lava crystal works is, as it says here, it's a nifty crystal that once you right click on the ground or air, you can link it to your LP network, which will then allow you to use LP as a fuel for your furnace. So you may need a few just because one of them is used for a furnace and the others are for crafting needs. So you can put this into anything considered a furnace. So essentially the way this works is this thing right here, I can just store life in it periodically. When I'm not busy, I can just chuck some life into it and it will store life that I have, and it's just useful. And we can check how much is in it, I believe by right clicking it there. Yeah, and it's going to start filling up with that blood. But it currently has about 2,000. Anytime that we need to do something with life, it'll pull from that instead of from me. So let's go ahead and eat some more. This is why I started making all that food. It's just useful. So now that we have that, we can start moving into blank runes. So these are pretty easy to make. Just need to make some, get that, and we need to make another one of those slates. So we'll put that in. Now, the reason this isn't working with our life points network is because we haven't provided it the runes for it to do so. One of these runes actually connects it to our life network, and that's sort of what we're aiming for at the moment. And we will go through and get the rest of these orbs later, but that's not our priority just this minute. And there we go. That's what we needed. Took a little bit, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and make this blank rune now. I think we have everything to make it. Yeah, we have everything we need. So let's get blank rune. Okay, we now have exactly one blank rune. Now we will need to make more of those, and they're actually not too expensive to make. So we will be probably doing that off camera just because I don't want to subject you guys to the boredom of repeatedly watching me right click this to make more and more blank slates. It's not fun. It's not entertaining, but that gives us a bunch of stone. That gives us access to all of these. So for example, there's the speed rune. So it makes the crafting with the altar 20% faster. So this altar will put things together quicker. So the time it takes it to fill an item with life points is shortened. Then we have Rune of Sacrifice. So mobs killed with this rune or on the rune will give more life points. This works well with the Well of Suffering ritual, as the constant tick damage gives more LP than it uses, which are great for the best of unending, constant stream of LP. And we'll get to that later. We have a good source of witches. If you remember, there's the witches in the library, and I haven't broken their spawners yet. I've still left that. Then the Rune of Self-Sacrifice over here. So it makes the sacrificial knife better and more LP without losing more health. Then Displacement Rune. It doesn't say how this works, but essentially this prevents mobs from stepping onto the altar. You usually want to set that right underneath it and put a barrier between you and the mobs in front of you, if you're using mobs to farm it. Then there's the Rune of Capacity, so it adds more space, and you have to do this later for pretty big crafting recipes. The Rune of the Orb. This one's pretty important, and it will take us a little bit to get into, but it allows us to get an Orb of Temporary Flight, and we will be getting into that later. The Charging Rune, I can't remember what the Charging Rune does, and the Augmented Capacity just adds 10% more to your altar's essence tanks, so it's just for late game altar stuff. Now, if we hadn't set up the create stuff, we could have also gone the Hellfire Forge. So the Hellfire Forge is a different type of forge that's also pretty efficient. You can see going into this, there's a bunch of different like demons going on, and we eventually get to Sanguine Reverters, which lets us take apart the orbs that we've created so that if we ever don't want these weak blood orbs, we don't have to use them anymore. Let's go ahead and put some more in that and go ahead and eat. Blood magic is a lot more complex than this. It's not just burn yourself and fill this thing up. It's eventually going to get onto setting up a large elaborate mob farm just to have infinite life points. And we will actually end up getting to that. That's not too far in the future. It's just right now, we don't have that kind of resources. So we will need to do a lot of mining. We're going to need to do a lot of resource gathering. We're going to just need to take a lot of time to actually get all of these things prepared. But that's going to do it for this video. And if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe. And honestly, leave a comment down below if there's any ideas you have, or if there's any specific mod you want me to cover in my next video. And if I haven't already gotten to it, or if I haven't planned on when I'm going to get to it. I'll go ahead and get started with it as soon as I can, or as soon as I see your comment. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and until then, bye-bye.